Good morning. Welcome, Rebirthers. Today is Saturday morning, June 17th, and we want to thank you for continuing to hang in there as we're pushing forward in our daily devotional series entitled Declutter Now. So, you know what I'm going to ask of you. Go ahead and like, tag, share, comment on this video, and let's get it shared to people that may need it, that may need a word of encouragement, that may want to just be refreshed this morning because we started our weekend. And so anyway, I'm glad you're still hanging in there with us. We have been pushing and you guys have been faithful to hang in there. Now, this morning, we're going to be talking about the danger of addictions. The danger of addictions. And this was such a great devotion. I got a lot from it, just going back, reminding myself that God is still faithful, that God is still able to deliver. God has the power to free us. So when we talk about the dangers of addictions, it's not always as simple as people think. Well, I don't understand why they do that. Well, one of the things that our writer talked about in a devotion this morning was prescription drugs. So you have a pain in your body, for instance, and you go to your medical practitioner and you speak with them. They prescribe you a drug, a medicine to help with that pain. The problem is when we abuse those prescription drugs. So when someone abuses those drugs and they find themselves needing it, wanting it often, even long after the pain is gone, because of the adrenaline rush, etc., whatever the means or reason is, they want it. Now they find themselves losing out. Let me explain what I mean by losing out. When I say losing out, you're losing out on your faith because it's starting to crumble. You're losing out on family because you're being unattentive, you're not there. And then you're losing out on finances because now you got to support the habit. And this is where we need the power of God to help us declutter addiction. And the interesting thing about decluttering addiction, for most people, a majority of the people, is not a battle that's going to be won by yourself. You're going to need help. Now, Jesus, and this is one of the verses from our devotion in Matthew chapter 19, verse 26, pretty sure it's 26. He looks at it and he says, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Here's the thing. God works through people. You've heard me say this so many times. And so one of the best ways to connect to a good group of people, in my personal opinion, is with a great local church. Rebirth Christian Fellowship, it is indeed a church where God sent men to grow. However, we are here if you need help to break the power, the yoke of addiction, bondage. We are there for you. But we cannot do anything until you come into that building. You showing up means that you really want help and that you're seeking God, because Jesus said it best. With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. And we always say, what does the word all mean in Greek? Everything, all, is all inclusive. The definition doesn't change. So if it's true, and I happen to believe that it is, that with God, all things are possible, then we need to be in an environment where we can allow the power of God to operate and help us break the yoke, the bondage, and declutter addiction in ways that only He can. Now, He will work through people most of the time. He will work through people. So I'm suggesting tomorrow is Father's Day. Come to our church, 700 23rd Northwest Avenue, Centerpoint. Come check us out and let us love on you and let us show you that the power of God is real. Men, show up. Uncles, nephews, brothers, father-in-law, brother-in-laws, y'all show up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Father's Day. We're going to pack the building out because we're going to break the yoke of bondage. We're going to show you that addiction can be broken. We're going to show you how the power of God can move in a very real, tangible way. Now, what do I mean by all of that? I just simply mean that the power of God will begin a process in you. Part of the deal is when you move, God will move with you. He'll move on your behalf. He'll move for you. He'll do things for you, but you got to move. When you move, He will move. When you move, He will move. Now, if you will, Like, tag, share this video. Let's destroy these yokes of addiction and bondage. Let's destroy anything that's keeping us from having a real relationship with our Father in heaven. And also, addiction, in closing, I gotta say this, addiction, it can operate as a sort of an idol in our life, because we begin to worship the drug, or we begin to worship alcohol, or we begin to worship whatever it is, overeating, for instance, whatever that may look like. So we need the power of God to help us. And the only way that this will be accomplished is when we surround ourselves around people that want to see us grow in our faith, our family, and our finances, that want to see us break the yoke and the bondage of addiction through the power of God. And that will happen when you connect to a local church. And if I suggest to you Rebirth Christian Fellowship, it's because, yes, I'm a member, but more than that, I watch the power of God grow in my life. I watch myself develop, mature, and grow in my life by being a member of this church. So tomorrow is Father's Day. Be in church. You need a church home. Come to our church in the morning. We'll be there. Service starts at 11 a.m. Like, tag, share this video, comment on it. Let's share it with people that may need to hear these words of encouragement, because with God, all things are possible. When you move, he will move. And I'll close by saying, God is with us, God is for us, and God is able. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Looking forward to seeing each of you in the morning in the building at Rebirth Christian Fellowship. Bye-bye.